Manscaped. You know, we like our friends over at Manscaped. They always keep us slim, trim, and always ready to blast off, aka take off, because we are galaxy travelers. Yes, we are. But ladies and gentlemen, this show, like a lot of our shows, are brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. They specialize in keeping those delicate twins smooth, gentle, and friendly. User friendly, right? That's a nice way to put it. User friendly. And we also know it's still summertime. And during the summer, we got the hot guy summer. And more importantly, the performance package for those hot guys, which we're actually going to be giving two of those away in a little bit on this show. But that being said, yeah, you know how we cook it up, baby. You know, we got stuff for you now. But going back to that performance package 4.0, you know what's included in that thing? The Lawnmower 4.0 with the little like binking. We do that because it goes on and off. You need that. You got to be able to see. We know that, Deke. But then also you got the Weed Whacker, you got the Ball Reviver, you got the Crop Refresher. I mean, it's all type of goodies in that bag, and you got the travel kit, so that way you don't have to walk around with all this stuff. Look a little cool. Got to look a little cool, man. But as we always do, it would not be, we don't talk about anybody unless we got action for you. And this comes in the way of a promo code, ladies and gentlemen. Use the promo code MOATS, MOATS. You get 20% off your purchase along with free shipping worldwide at manscaped.com. So with that being said, let's talk about these quarterbacks, man. What's up with my man Mason Rudolph, baby? I mean, first off, Mason, I thought he did.
He played good again.
Okay, I was about to say, even though we know Haskins is going to dominate this conversation, Mason did. I thought he played well as well.
He played good. Yeah,
he had some nice throws.
The first drive was against, I think, all the Eagles' legitimate starters.
Yes,
and I think they took him out after that.
Yeah, it looked good though. Like, to me, I was saying this: Haskins' first two drives, I was thinking to myself, man, this might go bad if Haskins doesn't pick it up, because Mason did play well enough in his couple series.
Oh yeah, because he sailed that one on the run.
Right. And now granted, it was a little bit of a miscommunication with the receiver over there in terms of whether he should have kept running or not. That's neither here nor there, right? And then obviously we saw the miscommunication on the handoff. And it was like, oh man, please don't tell me it's about to happen to Haskins. Nah, not right now, because Mason did play well. But then Haskins just turned it on. He stepped into another level, and that was what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that right there. But I did want to make sure we do acknowledge Mason, because Mason is very much in this quarterback conversation. Mason is very much in this competition, and he has continued to put good stuff on tape in these games right now.
And that's even what Tomlin said afterwards. Mm-hmm. They asked him about, like, did Haskins do enough to take over QB2, or has he shown you enough?
Right.
And that's what he said. He said, I just need to see more of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Mason, Haskins, Dobbs. And that's what we were saying in the Hall of Fame game. I would love to see a full game from each of the quarterbacks, but that's just not going to happen. Mason, dude, he did. He played good. The only thing he didn't do was the production like Haskins and lead those scoring drives, which counts, which matters. Haskins was able to pull that off, but still, Rudolph, what was it, 7 for 9? Didn't he have like 70 or 80 yards?
Mm-hmm.
He made some nice passes. The two bummers were just the end of the drives where I felt like he was holding on to the ball too long.
Yeah.
You can't see it on the broadcast where the receiver's not getting open. Maybe it is a good thing he wasn't throwing it, because it could have been a pick. But that's about it. I mean, he just didn't lead any scoring drives, but I thought he looked good enough out there. And I thought those penalties kind of screwed the drives up a little bit too. Granted, the one he made up for it, I think it was right the play after he threw that dot to Deontay Johnson. But
that was beautiful, though.
Yeah. It was, So I thought he played fine.
Yeah,
I think it's still a competition.
Yeah,
who are you giving the edge to? Probably Haskins, but Mason's still in there.
Yeah, Mason's definitely still in there. But I thought,
it depends on who they're going to give the second spot to in this next game. If Ben's going to play, what if they give it to Mason again? That just goes to show, I guess they view Mason still as QB2. In a sense, but I think it's still. It can go a couple of ways if they did go back to Mason right there. But there's a few reasons for it. You mean?
It could be a couple of reasons. I don't think it's just as simple as they still view him as QB number 2. But I'll get into it in a second. But what I was gonna say, going to Haskins though, I was just super impressed with how he looked, man, in terms of being able to overcome the slower start. He did get the extended look this game, right? We said last game, man, he played well, but we wanted to see more of it. We got to see a lot more of it, man. And seeing him be able to go through that process of a couple of bad series. All right. mentally, where are you going to be at with this thing, right? We've questioned your maturity. We've questioned, could you be a leader and all these other things? Well, this is the time to show that. And you saw him do that even when he had a bad play. He didn't point fingers. He didn't beat himself up. Now you saw him walk back to the huddle like he always does. Super cool, chill, like it was nothing going on. And then just proceeded to make plays. And I just thought that even when the commentators were talking about him more so doing a ton of the check downs or the safer throws, I didn't have an issue with it because he kept the offense on schedule. If don't throw the ball downfield just for the sake of throwing it downfield if it's incomplete and now you're behind the chains on second down and third down. No, that's not productive. But you notice he kept them in second and manageable and third and manageable every single time he was out there. And that to me is just really good quarterback play right there. He showed that he wasn't game manager when he was stretched the field. He threw some dimes out there, some rockets of a throw. And shout out to Rico Bussey because Rico just seemed to be his running mate in that second half like that. But as a whole, man, you really saw the things that, made Dwayne Haskins be the 15th overall selection. That is the reason why a lot of us are excited about him being here. Those are the things that were flashing last night, man. That throw on the run, man, like just taking you through that sequence. First off, ball key, right? Him going to the hard count, vet move right there. In terms of when it's in the flow like that, right? Not coming off of a timeout, not coming off of a change of a quarter, but in the flow to switch the cadence like that. First off, you got to really trust your O-line because a lot of times when you switch into cadence in a preseason game in the second half, dudes be tripping out a little bit. False starts. But first off, all those dudes were locked in. That takes confidence that, hey, I believe in you guys that y'all can be able to execute
That's
this.
just Dalton's leadership, I think.
Dawson's leadership. Either way, my man Dwayne Haskins, though, showed that, hey, I trust you guys enough to put my stuff on the line to even hard count this. Then from there, knowing, okay, I got this guy to jump. Not just going for a conservative play, because once you get this guy to jump, that's your free play. That's when you want to be ultra aggressive. You take the shot, and you saw him extend the play, get out the pocket on the move, set his feet while he was throwing, in terms of not jumping off his back foot, because I've told you that was one of his things, man. He liked to jump in there and throw the ball and all those wacky stuff in Washington. He didn't do that. He made it look like a normal NFL throw on the run. It was beautiful. Now, I wish he would have hit Pat just so I could keep my Pat train going even higher, but it's all good. I'm not tripping, baby, because it was a beautiful throw and touchdown catch right there, man. So I did like that. But going back to what I was saying about if Mason were to start this next game, right, or if he were to be the next guy to go in, why I still wouldn't think of it as, oh, man, they still view him as QB2. I just go back to that Landry Jones situation. Landry was the first quarterback up or started every single time that year. Remember that. It would be, okay, who's coming in after him? Mason or Dobbs? Who's getting in first between those guys? But it was always Landry going in first. And at the end of the day, that did not matter when they were ready to make that move. So even if Mason goes in again first after Ben, I still wouldn't put too much stock into that in terms of QB2 versus QB3 right now. I just think that they might be looking at him and just say, hey, we really want to see this guy with this unit, with these guys, because if we don't want him to be QB2. We're trying to see if he can be future franchise quarterback. He's going to need to show what he can do right now with this unit. And maybe that is the approach with them, because if he's not QB2, or excuse me, if he's not franchise QB, right, and we feel like Haskins beats him out, well, what is the purpose of him being on this roster? And that's why I do think we could see him once again going out there earlier in the game to see how he looks with that starting unit again.
Which is interesting because after this game, I'm like, man, I just would rather keep Mason and Haskins. I don't care about the order as opposed to moving off one of them. And I'm assuming in this case it would be Rudolph, just to have that quarterback depth. Yeah. Because with Dobbs with the pick and everything. Yeah, dude. That'll be interesting how it plays out. I wanted to hit on some of the things you were saying about Haskins, though, too. Yeah. Keeping it on schedule, because as much as the running game was pretty nice in that second half, there were points that we were losing yards. Yeah. And then Haskins would bounce back, get a nice 5 or 6 yard pass, and then keep the drive going, which because in the moment, I felt like the running game was incredible. Yeah. But I think a lot of it had to do with how Haskins was able to move the ball, because we were able to break off like a 10-yard run or something like that. But then there would be another run or two. We'd only get a yard. Maybe we'd lose some yards. But Haskins would be back-to-back in terms of his short passes and keeping the drive going. So that kind of goes back to what you were saying and keeping things on schedule.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, it's multiple ways to move that ball downfield, right? And we've talked about it. Whether it was New England back when they would do the short passes, but they were always positive plays, right? Keeping you on schedule. It can work if you stay on schedule. It can work if you don't have the drops. It can work if guys are productive after the catch. And we were seeing that last night.